Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice. Simple steps for showing up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm grateful you are here. I am grateful you took the time, your precious time, to be with me today. I know you could be listening to other episodes of other shows. You could be listening to books. You can listen to music. You can be in your own thoughts, all of which are good, dandy, and amazing. But you chose to be here right now, which means you have something to learn, which means you have growth, which means you have a trajectory and a path, and I applaud you for that. You're taking action, which is so pivotal in your growth. I want you to applaud yourself right now. I'm proud of you. I want you to think about that. I'm proud of you because you showed up today listening to this instead of doing other things you could be doing that could be potentially mind-numbing, that could be potentially background noise, that could just be something to pass the time, but you didn't. You chose to be here to grow your mind and to learn something new, and then subsequently have the opportunity to utilize it and to grow. You took the action and the opportunity will arise because as we have recently said, as we always say, your thoughts precede your actions precede your opportunities. You create the opportunities, which is so cool to think about. And I want you to ponder on that and ponder on the growth process you had. We had a mentorship meeting yesterday. I mentored 4 companies. I do that once a month. And the companies rotate and it's a revolving door of people. And it's a very cool experience. But something that somebody said yesterday was, how often do I know what I'm doing versus not know what I'm doing each day to move my needle? Because he said most days he knows what he needs to do to move the needle, but some days he's just clueless, beating his head against the wall. And I chimed him into 70% of the time, maybe even higher. I have no idea what I'm doing. Isn't that interesting? Most of the time, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just doing something that I feel will move the needle. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But the fact is, I don't stop taking action. I keep moving, keep swinging the axe. And very often, I'm sharpening that axe. I'm listening to books. I'm listening to podcasts. I listen to my own podcasts because this episode I'm recording will come out in the better part of 2 months from now. And it is so often I gather information, knowledge, and insight from my own episode. I'm speaking to myself in the future. You are often most capable of teaching the person you once were. I often teach myself. Isn't that interesting? Such a cool thing. However, that's not what I want to talk about today. I had a conversation this morning, very brief, about 30 seconds long, that I needed to get on in front of this camera, in front of this mic, and record this conversation that I had because it is so important. Oh my goodness, it's important. I was at the gym this morning. I was doing bottom-up bench press, which means the support arms on the side are at my chest level, and that's where my bench press starts. It doesn't start at the top, it starts at the bottom. You have to drive more power. There is no stretch effect. There is no momentum. There is no anything. You just build inertia, kind of like we spoke about last episode, from the bottom to move the bar. And it takes a great deal more of static inertia because I have directional inertia from the muscle stretching when I go from the top down. A whole bit of weightlifting physics for you. But it's much harder. And I sat up between sets and a friend, a gym brother, walked past me and just said, "How are you doing today? How's the day?" And I said, "It's fantastic. I love this movement. I love this workout. I love that I have separation season upon us. It's Friday as I'm recording this episode." And I asked him how he was doing. And he said, it's the same old thing. Just keep on moving in the monotony. Trying to find joy in the monotony was his actual statement. And I paused for a minute and I said, why are you trying to find joy in the monotony? And who says monotony isn't ever changing, full of chaos? He said, well, you got to find joy in what's going on. And it's the same thing every day. But the spring is upon us. And pretty soon I'm going to be outside with my kids and everything will change. So this friend of mine, this gym brother, has chosen to search for joy versus create it himself. He has chosen that his day-to-day activities, though they be very similar, are exactly the same. This is not Groundhog Day. Every day is different, but he has chosen that it's the same, and it has caused his energetic level to suppress, and then stated that some majestic unicorn of a future called the spring and warm weather will change his emotional state. It's a little bit different when I put it that way, isn't it? How is that in your life? When you think about these things in your world, every day is the same. It's very monotonous. I have to find joy. Spring's around the corner and I'm going to be happy. You are literally saying, I choose to feel like crap and I choose to have a low energetic state because my days are very similar. And because they're very similar, I have to find this thing called joy, which is a never-ending journey. And someday in the future that I'm dubbing spring with warm weather, that's the definition I'm giving it, but it's just some mystical day in the future, I'm going to be happy because my environment has changed. Where in your world is that the case? Where in your world are you choosing similar situations and similar energetic states because of my gym brother? We're going to give you lessons from the laboratory. Okay. When I was in the laboratory for 13 years of my adult life, I was in a building. I'm going to paint this picture for you. I was in this building. This building is 60 years old. I had redone all the walls, took all the cinder block and covered it in sheetrock, put new paint, covered the skylights because they were fogged over and UV stained and put tremendous amount of heat on your head. That was the only windows in the whole building, by the way, was 3 skylights that put so much heat in the building it caused chaos on the instrumentation. In fact, one room had 2 skylights. It put down so much heat between the skylights and the instruments themselves that the room got so hot that the whiteboards warped. It was like over 100 degrees inside the room. And because of that, the instruments were chaotic. They didn't really work. But that space to remain aseptic and to remain environmentally neutral had no windows, no natural light, very little variation in temperature, no airflow, because that would cause a breeze, which would cause dust to flow, no airflow, as much as humanly possible. And quite dark, dismal. And when I was on the lab bench, especially when I was in preparation, sample preparation, I would prepare several hundred or thousand sample preparations every day. Just grab a sample, pull it over, weigh it, mark it on the keyboard, same keys, same weights, same tubes, run the microwave digestion, clean them, dilute them with water, give them to the lab techs over and over and over and over. You could say that's fairly monotonous. It is literally the same mechanical action over and over again. So much so that you could easily put a robot in there to do it. But within each movement, it was a different sample, different customer, similar customers every day. It was the same customers, but they were sending in different samples. So sometimes it was a liquid, sometimes it was a capsule, sometimes it was a gel, sometimes it was a powder, sometimes I had to grind it up, sometimes I needed to blend it, sometimes I needed to use a mortar and pestle. There was difference inside the monotony, but I had to zoom in to find the detail. If I zoomed way out 50,000 foot, I was doing the exact same thing every day. Nothing changed. But if I zoom in, now I find detail. Now I find differentiation. Now I find granularity. It was in the details that the day was different. And it was in those details that I created joy. I needed to weigh 100 milligrams. I would make it a game. I'd gamify myself. How close could I get to 100 milligrams? There was times I would hit 100.000 milligrams in one fell swoop, one fell scoop. You could say that's that's 1 in a billion chance, but I did it often because I weighed out hundreds of thousands of samples. When I was on the instrumentation, same thing on a 50,000 foot. So often we look at our lives from 50,000 feet and say everything's the same every single day. But when you zoom in, when you look at the detail, it is not the same. It is far from it, actually. And there is so much variation and so much entropy within that space. Entropy is chaos. Today, fast forward 3 years later, my day is very similar. From a 50,000 foot view, I hang out with my kids. I record these podcasts. I study. I go to the gym. I drink the same amount of water. I virtually eat the same foods at virtually the same times. I sit in front of my computer and I go through data sets, the same type of data set every day. But the data in the data set's different. The results are different. The interpretation is different. If I go from 50,000 feet, it's the same thing. But if I zoom into 10 feet, they are very different. And I find in there little wins, little micro wins. I create joy. I create happiness within. I'm not looking for existential, external validation to find joy. I am making joy. I laugh at things. I laugh at myself all the time. How often do I laugh in these episodes? Like I just did. I make fun of myself more than anybody else. It's pretty hard to make fun of me because I make fun of myself way more than you ever could because I'm around myself full time. Where in your world are you saying my life is monotonous? I'm trying to find joy. When this happens, it will be different and I'll be happier. Or are you choosing where you focus, you find? Are you choosing joy, happiness, bliss, satisfaction? Are you choosing these higher energetic states? It is within the details that you find these states. It is within the details you find differentiation. It is within the details you find all this stuff. And I'm interchangeably using the word find now that I think about it. But it's a choice. Therefore, I created it. You create the space. You create the energy from within. And it all starts with your thoughts. And those thoughts produce action. And that action produces an opportunity. Discontinue looking for outside validation and start looking for internal drive. You are the combustion engine. You are the source of energy. You are the fuel. You are the engine. You are the entire power plant. It is you. When we were talking to these businesses yesterday, a common theme was you are the company. It's you. It's not the company. It's you. Because if you stopped, the company stopped. Because these guys are all business startups. They're all brand new. Most of them are their only employee. And they're not even employees because they're not even paid right now. They're just working on a project that will become a company that has been legally become an entity. It's been LLC'd, S Corp, C Corp, whatever. So they are entities. They are a business, but they have no revenue yet. They're pre-revenue. Almost all of them, not all of them. But we had to keep reiterating, you are the business. If you stop, the business stops. And that's how it is with pretty much all business owners to some degree. Until you create systems, processes, procedures to keep it going when you're not there. But that's not the case when you start. Nor is it in any other thing in life. When you start it, it's all on you. It's a choice. Being happy, having joy is a choice. I choose gratitude and happiness every day. It is literally where my day starts. The very first thing that happens. Well, I shouldn't say the very first thing. The very first thing is I get out of bed. This is my morning, literally every day. My alarm goes off on my phone. I roll over. I turn the alarm off. I throw covers off of me. I swing my legs around. I sit up. I stretch my back. Just kind of twist a little bit here and there. I stand up, I walk into the closet in the dark. I grab a pair of shorts. I grab a shirt. I put a hoodie on. I put socks on. I walk downstairs. and I do my meditation for 15 minutes. And that meditation starts in gratitude and perpetuates in gratitude and continues and ends in gratitude. That is my morning. And then from there, I go to the gym, I drink my pre workout, I drink my water, I do all those things. Where are you choosing the higher energetic states and where are you choosing the lower ones? It is a choice. Think about that as you have listened to this and as you continue on your day today and as you share this episode. Think about that. Reach out to me, leave me a review. Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to this thing. Reach out. My handle is Mr. Brad Draper on all social media platforms. So like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.